Assalamu alaikum. So in our last lecture, we got to page 34 and we explained that this is the result of the long thinking that Maricol had been doing. She kept saying, I'm thinking, I'm thinking, I'm thinking. And then she came to Kaiser and she was like, I don't know what to or how to what thing you could offer me so that I would keep helping you, Devola and I could so that we would continue helping you. He he suggests that he would give her money. She says, no, it's not what I want. So what do you want? She says, I want you to sign the papers. And he's like, what papers? But she'd already prepared the papers on which she has asked to have the land and the house. Now, if we go to the ending of the page, Romy stood and took 3 steps and looked down at Kaiser. Look at this description. He looked down at Kaiser. This is the first time uh, they get the chance to feel superior. The moment they realized that they would have their own property, money, they found the first thing they did was looking down at Kaiser. And it's like I want you to think about the relationship between having money, having property, and having a good status in the society, and how this affects the theme of difference in social class. If you remember, the earlier quotation that we discussed was when when Romy asked Kaiser to start feeling hungry because the rich people never feel hungry because they always have money, they always have food, and they have never experienced hunger before. And here, looking down at Kaiser, he is because he feels that now he owns property, he owns a land, he has money. He feels that he, in a way, is superior to Kaiser. uh, his towel turban had slipped sideways, allowing pieces of blanket, blah, blah, blah. He was dirty and greasy and gaunt. He looked terrible, worse than I'd ever seen him. But still, in that time, in that moment, I saw in him something I'd never seen before. It might have been just a feeling, or it might have been real, but I saw it. A curious raw dignity. And why did she see dignity in him? It's because in that moment, she thought that he's going to keep his promise and he's going to give them the land and the house. And I thought he's mean and he's stingy and he's a bully and he's gone back on his word to Roy Luther more times than anybody can count, but he won't go back this time, or he won't go back on this time. Now, we ask a question. Why does she feel so confident? I mean, think about it. Not only is she a kid, she's also a girl. And we all know that the position of women in the Western society is not that much, especially like not until very recently have they started preaching the need for women's rights, but even then, they still have not given women the rights they need. Now, aside from that, we have a 40-year-old man, Kaiser, who's rich, who's got everything, and a 14-year-old girl. Why would he keep his promise to a 14-year-old girl if he had not kept his promise to Roy Luther? Um, we might think of Devola as a reason. Maybe she thinks because she's playing the Devola card, maybe he won't back down on them. But still, look at her confidence. I won't let him. He'll try it, and I'll have to fight him, and maybe I won't be any match for him, but I won't go down in the way Roy Luther's gone. It's a little bit, I don't want to say dreamy in a good, positive sense. I think the right word is delusional. She's delusional because she thinks that this is going to happen. Would it? I mean, the man said no to your father, who's old, who's a man, who's been doing the real work. Aren't you being a little bit delusional, Mary Cole? So that's why I wouldn't call her a dreamer, but a delusional. So Rami was saying, you mean from now on, when I'm out in the field working and Kaiser comes riding up and colors for me to do something, I don't have to do it. That's right. That's exactly what I mean. He might go back on what the paper says, Mary Cole. He might just go back on it. This is foreshadowing what's going to happen. And it's a hint for us as readers to be aware that, to be aware what's going to happen. And this is where I don't want to say the conflict begins here. The conflict doesn't begin here, but the indications of a conflict are hinted here. For our night's work, Romy figured we should have a little something extra. I argued that we couldn't take anything, that if we did, it would be stealing. He found a piece of paper and a pencil and wrote out. Now, if you remember, they went to the basement and they found in the basement in the previous chapter, or in this chapter, they found in a basement all sorts of foods. And now they want to take some. So I want you to think about it. Like, if we zoom out, when a person is given, like here, they have property, they have land, they don't have it yet, but they have, they made Kaiser sign the papers. And now it's not enough. The house is not enough, the land is not enough. They feel that they are entitled to get more from the basement, so they take things without permission. Now, Marico says, don't do it, it's stealing. But then he says, if I write it down, it won't be much of a problem. But it's still stealing. You're only listing the things you've stolen, and it's still stealing. Yes, Spicer is horrible. Yes, you get to hate him. But would you steal from him? So what does Marico do? She doesn't stop him, although she's older than him. She doesn't stop him. She just simply says, I think this is stealing. So you think this is wrong, this is stealing, but you have just made a man who's sick and dying sign the papers. And it makes us a little bit like, hold on. You made him sign the papers so you would take care of him. But after he signed the papers, you're leaving him? But isn't the whole purpose of signing the papers so that you would end Viola? Not Viola. What was her name? It's not Viola. Devola. Sorry, Devola. You and Devola, shouldn't you do and Devola stay in and help him? Where are you going? اوكي خليكم مستنيين للجزء اللي بعده.